Hey guys, this is Now Lammers of Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Super Quants. This is a deck that I've actually really liked. This is, as you guys probably know, this is easily probably up in my top 10 favorite decks that I've had built and want more support for. I really like this deck, and because the mail is just being super slow and I haven't been able to finish off two other decks, potentially a third one as well, simply because the mail is being so slow. I want to try and keep putting stuff out for you guys until it shows up. And this was one of the decks that recently I thought could potentially do some damage, specifically because of Magnus. I almost said Manus. But yeah, with that all said, before we get into it, down in the description, if you feel like supporting the channel, there's a few different links, including our Teespring and our Discord. So with that all said, I'm going to set the extra deck off to the side and we'll get right into the main deck. Now, much like the most recent few videos that I've been doing, we're going to take a look at these through engines, much like last time. So of course, the first bit and the biggest chunk of the deck is of course the Super Quant stuff. So we're playing 3 Red Layer. If you don't know what Red Layer does, you guys have probably seen this guy before, either in Infernoble or in other various different warrior strats, particularly Monarchs is where this guy was used for a little while. Mainly because if you control no monsters, you can special summon him from the hand, which is really nice. And then his other effects are, so each of these Super Quants has an effect on summon, and when it's sent to grave, his on summon effect is you get to target a Super Quant in your graveyard and add it to your hand, and when he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Super Quant monster from the graveyard, but negates effects. So he's pretty useful in that way. Next up, keeping with it, 3 Green Layer on summon. He can special summon another Super Quant monster from the hand, which is really useful, particularly when you have the Alphen Fairy. And then when he's sent to the grave, you can discard a card, discard a Super Quant card, and then draw 1 card. So he's really useful for that. Green's also a spellcaster, so against certain strategies, particularly the Secret Village of Spellcasters, you can use him to straight up just turn that off and leave him on the board. Next up, we have the Stratos of the deck. This is Super Quant Blue. Now, Blue is really cool. Her effect is on normal or special. You can add 1 Super Quant card from deck to hand, and then when she's sent to the graveyard, you can target 3 Super Quant cards in your graveyard, shuffle them back into the deck. Unfortunately, she doesn't let you draw a card, which would have been amazing. I think that if she did let you draw a card, it'd be probably the best thing. But she's also a level 3 Psychic, which means you can summon her off of E-Telly. We don't stop there. We have 3 Super Quant White Layer, who is a level 7, and much like Red Layer, has the ability to summon himself by discarding a non-light Super Quant monster from hand or field, sending it to grave, and then on summon, you get to send 1 Super Quant monster from your deck to the graveyard, and he gets to copy its level, attribute, and type, I believe. And then when he's sent to graveyard, you can add a Super Quantal Fairy Alphon from Woo! You can add an Alphon from grave or deck to hand. And speaking of Alphon, there it is. Alphon is really cool. It says once per turn you can target a Super Quant monster you control. All face-up monsters you control currently become that monster's level, which can be 1 because it can target itself, which is kind of weird that we don't have a level 1 Super Quant Xyz. I think that would be kind of interesting to get. And then on top of that, you contribute this card, reveal 3 Super Quant monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to special summon to your field and send the others to the grave. So it basically triggers 3 different Super Quants depending on your situation. So really cool monster there. And that rounds out the monster lineup. We play 3 of all of them because they're all very useful and very good. I do want to mention that I did look at some other deck lists, so this is playing some stuff that I picked up from other people because I thought that it was also really good on their end. I'm playing 3 of the field spell. The field spell is what makes Great Magnus. It also lets you discard a card, target a Super Quantum monster, not Super Quant, Super Quantum, and then special summon 1 Super Quant Mech Beast Xyz monster with the same attribute using that monster as material. And then you can send it to the graveyard and it target 3 Super Quants on field, 3 Super Quantal Mech Beasts monsters on field or in graveyard, special summon Great Magnus and equip and then attach the monsters as material. So like If you have like a 2-material Xyz monster, another 2-material Xyz monster, and then the other Super Quantal Beast in the graveyard, you just take all the materials of those Xyz monsters and then the one in the grave, you summon Magnus, and then you slam all of those underneath them. It's pretty cool. Next, I'm playing 2 of the other spell. The spell isn't super great. I thought about cutting it to 1, but I kind of like seeing it since this deck is kind of weak and wonky. It says, if a Super Quant monster you control is destroyed by battle, special summon 1 Super Quantal Mech Beast Xyz from your extra deck. Then you can special summon 1 Super Quantum monster from your hand, deck, or grave that is specifically listed on that Xyz monster, but negates effects. And that's kind of the really crappy part about this archetype, is that both this and him negate the effects of the monsters, or he says they can't activate, but this straight up negates it, of the effects of monsters that they summon, which would have really helped this deck out. And since this came out of Dark Neostorm, you really think that this would be a lot better. Then we play 1 Magna Formation. It says your opponent can't target Super Quant cards on the field with card effects. During your main phase 1, you can target a Super Quant Xyz monster you control, attach 1 other face-up monster you control to it as material. This really should have been during either player's main phase, and I honestly think it should have let you attach an opponent's monster. Again, this is a card from Dark Neostorm. It really should have been better than during your main phase 1, attach a thing you control to it. So, next up, we have Super Quant Mech Sword Magnus Layer. I still play this. I still think it's really cool, and I like it as a one-of. It says, target a Super Quant Xyz monster you control, equip this card to it. It gains attack equal to its rank times 100. Also, if it attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing. And then it says, during your battle phase, you can send this equip card to the graveyard. The monster that was equipped with this card can make 3 attacks, which is pretty insane. I like it as a one-of, like I said. But that is it for the Super Quant stuff. Moving into the second engine I play 1 Danger Jackalope, 1 Danger Sukanoko, mostly because those are at 1 Mothman, 1 Chupacabra to get stuff back in case it gets discarded, and this should be a Nessie. I'm playing Dogman right now because it's the other level 7, but this should be a Nessie. I just don't own a Nessie, so Dogman is my replacement. But yeah, like I said, that should be a Danger Nessie. But yeah, the reason you play these is because this is a 3, these are a 4, and this is a 7. And so Nessie's also a 7. And those just happen to be the levels of the Super Quants. And on top of that, if you snipe a Super Quant out of your hand, they get their effects because they were sent to graveyard. So yeah, these end up working very well with the Super Quants. And then you can get extra materials for either Xyz summoning or Link summoning or whatever you need it to be. So yeah. The small danger package. Next up, this is the hand trap slot. I have effect veilers in here right now. You could play Ash. I was going to throw Ash in here, but it's Super Quants, and I haven't taken this to event or remote duel yet, so this is just generic 3 of hand trap slots. Play whatever hand trap you feel like playing. Next up is something, I can't remember his name, and I'm really sorry that I can't remember, but I watched the Super Quant video, and some guy was playing this, and I thought it was really cool. So I took it myself. 3 Phantom Knight cards, because the logic is you discard this one off of the field spell, you banish it, search the Silent Boots, discard him off the field spell and banish it, and then you have the trap card, and you can either set the trap card and activate it to get another level 4, or you can discard it as well. It's basically 3 cards that you're okay with discarding, because they each replace themselves except for this one, which is kind of weird. Like, I get it. Because if you see either of these 2, it's 2 discard. If you see him, it's 3 discards. If you see him, it's 2 discards. But like if you see this, it's kind of like, ooh. So I don't know how I totally feel about this yet, but I guess we'll find out in the future. And then we move into the just spell cards and extra stuff. I'm still playing 2 Dark World Dealings. I still think this card is really good in this deck, especially since you get to cycle through your stuff, draw deeper into your deck. You can trigger the Dangers, or you can trigger the Super Quants, so it's really good for that. 1 Terraforming for the field spell, because this deck runs on its field spell. 1 Emergency Teleport to get the blue layer to search. It's another extra special summon. 1 for 1, because it's another extra special summon. Monster Born as an extender. 2 Pot of Avarice, because we do run through our monsters, we do burn through our extra deck a bit, and putting 5 things back, especially our danger package, and then drawing 2 is really good. This is realistically the only draw card I like playing in this deck. And then I also played 2 Crackdown just for some negates, and also to steal stuff to Xyz or Link with it. So that's it for the deck. That's it for the main deck at least. And yeah, I don't know how many cards it is, please don't ask me. It should be around 40, 42. Around there. Moving into the extra, we play One Great Magnus, you kind of have to play him because he's big. He's the boss monster of strategy. And he gets bonus effects depending on how many materials he has. And it says, and also if he's sent to the graveyard, you can target 3 Super Quantal Mech Beasts and summon them back. So anyways, his effect is, if he has 2 or more materials, once per turn during either player's turn, or either player's main phase, you can detach a material, shuffle a card on the field into the deck, which is one of his most useful effects. And it says 4 or more, it's unaffected by card effects except Super Quant cards, very useful. And then 6, your opponent can't add cards from the deck to the hand by card effect. So it turns into a Colossus with 6 materials, which is kind of easy to do if you have a 2 material Xyz, and then you have a 1 material Xyz, and then 1 Xyz in the graveyard. That's 6 right there. So he turns into Colossus for a little bit. 2 red, so all the Super Quantal Mech Beasts have a quick effect, or have an effect that becomes a quick effect if you have their appropriate ranger. So, red Magna Liger gets to pop a card during either player's turn if he has red, but it's also just a once per turn effect if you don't use red. Green is a Book of Moon, it gets to flip a card face down. And blue is a MST, it gets to pop a spell or trap. So really cool on that. And then also, Luster X, the newest one. Let me move some of these. Luster X is a effect veiler. It's to target a monster and negate its effects for the turn. So really cool. And then we also have the new Megazord, which is Neo Super Quantal Mech King Blaster Magna, which is all of these guys combined up into a new Megazord, except for him. This is the OG Megazord, and this is like when they combine with the White Ranger. Anyway, what he does is whenever a Xyz monster with a different attribute is Xyz summoned under him, you get a draw card, and then he can't be destroyed by card effects as long as he was Link summoned. And then, what else? If a face-up Xyz monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 Super Quant monster from your deck with the same original attribute as one of those destroyed Xyz monsters. So yeah, pretty good. And then he also has 2,500 attack, so he's kind of small, but yeah. Also, I should mention, Great Magnus has 3,600 attack. He's kind of huge. Then for links, I'm playing 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, 1 Barricade Board Blocker, and 1 Boral Sword. Now, you could play, instead of this, you could play Megaclops. I couldn't find my Megaclops. I think it's with my Zoo deck, which I don't know where that went. So, yeah. Barricade Board also just gives you a discard for the dangers, for the Super Quants, and then it also protects your field spell, or could grab your field spell out of the graveyard. Also, Nightmare Unicorn. You could also swap the Nightmare Unicorn for the Megaclops if you wanted to do that instead. I think playing a Boral Sword is good though. But yeah, you could also generally play whatever you want in these 5 slots. It's kind of freebie here. You could also, if you want, you don't have to play 2 of each of these. You could probably play get away with 1 of each of these, specifically 1 of this and 1 of the 7. Mainly because you're not really going to be making 2 of these each game. I just like having this ratio of them. But yeah, so that is it for my Super Quant deck. This is one of those decks that I really enjoy, and I feel like if they did a deck build pack, because they did it for 6 Samurai, I really wish they would put Super Quants into a deck build pack, because it feels like one of those decks that they could easily be like Neo Super Quant, whatever, and then make it like a second set of Rangers that could really buff these guys, and they could do like a yellow, a pink, they could do like a yellow, pink, and a black Ranger, because we don't have a dark, we have a fire, a wind, a water, and a light, so they could do like a dark, an earth, and probably another fire or something. But yeah, like I feel like they could do more, or at least give them an earth and a dark, because we have gotten to that point where it's 2 Rangers away from having each attribute, and yeah, I like this deck a lot. Anyways, with that all said, let me know what you guys thought about this deck in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.